So welcome to this week's video, which is going to be very basic. It's going to be what's your favorite weapons? So let's get down and see what you guys think. All right, first part's going to be what is your favorite melee weapon? Now, with melee weapons, there's a couple options here. I think a lot of people, from what I've seen, have been favoring the axe, the two-handed axe. There is many versions of the two-handed axe. There's the great axe, which can be crafted by blacksmith users, and the boarding axe, which can be crafted by blacksmith users. There's also the native axe. The native axe is the one that I think is the most favored version of the axe. The Northwind devs also updated the graphics on the native axe now, and they look a lot better than they used to look. But I feel as though everybody carries the native axe. The native axe does a lot of damage from what I hear. There's also the, I guess, comparison would be the great axe, I think. And those, you'll see the people carrying those two around the most. I don't care for either of them. I have a native axe in my bank. I don't really use it. I do use it on burning trout. But I prefer the one-handed weapons, which could be the sword, which is the saber, the dragon sword, the cutlass, or the tomahawk, the native tomahawk, the colonist tomahawk. There's some blunt weapons too. I think there's some type of club. I think the natives have a club that can be used. It's, it's really choice on this one and what you want, but I see everybody favoring the two-handed axe. My choice is always going to be a tomahawk because it fits my character, but I do see a lot of people using the backsword, which is a weapon that can be looted from treasure chests. The backsword is pretty good. The backsword is pretty much favored by people, I think, when you go to see it. So the melee weapon is really what you're going to fight with at close range. It's going to be your go-to when you're out of bullets and you want to just get down right to it, and have that battle. So you got to make your choice here, but I think most people favor the native axe. Next part of this is what is your favorite secondary weapon? Now, I think most people, when they think secondary weapon, it's going to be the go-to pistol. The pistol seems to be everybody's secondary weapon. So when you're out of ammo, you run in your primary weapon. You run to your secondary. Your secondary is usually a quick sidearm. So there's a lot of variety here. I don't want to break things down by damage because I just know there's some other videos out there. There's so many different pistols that are out there. I think the most basic is the sharp pistol. The sharp pistol can be pretty much crafted by anybody in the colonist side. And it can be found sometimes too through the different towns. My native had found it in one of the towns by the colonist area. The sharp pistol is not, it doesn't do much damage. It's very easy to make. It's very easy to buy from the vendors. It's not really a favorite pistol by chance. I think the most used pistol that people like the most is the Holstein pistol. The Holstein pistol does some pretty nice damage. It has a nice pop. It's a reward from the tier 1 for blacksmithing contracts. It's very easy to get. It can be replaced pretty simple. I tend to carry that as my sidearm, and I even gone to the fact of insuring that over my rifle because, well, it's easy to get and it's easy to use, but I just got tired of people taking it. So I guess some other pistols that are pretty unique. There's the one that has the 3 or 4 barrels. I think that's the duckfoot pistol. The duckfoot pistol is pretty good. I haven't used it, but I've heard others really talk about how great it is. I don't like the look of it, so I just don't use it. I know the Dorset pistol is out there, and the British have access to the Dorset pistol. It's part of their weapons they can grab from their, free stuff from their out. So the other pistol I've seen a lot of players use, including Boombuck 2, this is like his go-to weapon secondary, is his Thunder pistol. Now the Thunder pistol is pretty nice. It's a larger pistol. It carries, I think, 4 shots at one time. If I recall correctly, and you're more than likely going to correct me if I'm wrong on this one, it's a contract weapon, if I recall correctly, through the smuggler contracts for hauling. I think it can also be picked up through Jack the Ripper through the bounty system. I have not used it. I may even have one in my inventory that somebody had given me, but I never use it. I just don't ever use it. It looks pretty sweet. It's a pretty nice looking pistol, and I think it's a favorite of a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people using it, so I would definitely give that a shot if that's one of your, one of the ones that you're out there with and you like. Definitely comment down below. Another pistol I've seen a lot of people using is the doglock pistol, which is a very rare pistol with high shot damage. I think it's part of what can be uh, gotten from treasure chests, if I recall correctly. It's one of the ones that people just love. I mean, I think I'm pretty sure it's a fort treasure chest actually, but I've seen a lot of that. I have one in my storage area that I don't use, but it's another favorite one. So leave a comment down below if that's one of the ones you really, really like. All right, the next part is going to be what's your favorite main weapon? Now, by this, I mean, what is the one you love the most? What is the one that you use? I'm just going to come straight out and say it, and you all know it. My favorite is the long rifle, aka the Kentucky rifle. I love the Kentucky rifle for multiple reasons. I love the Kentucky rifle because I can shoot at a far distance with the Kentucky rifle. Now, if you know me, you know I miss quite a bit, but I love the Kentucky rifle at a long distance. I love the Kentucky rifle because it's real. It's based on the actual Kentucky rifle. I love it because I'm a master blacksmith and I can make it, so whenever it gets stolen, it's very easy to replace. I love the look of it. I love the look of it. I love the feel that it's, when I carry it, to me, it's like I'm Hawkeye in Last of the Mohegans and I'm carrying my long rifle. So that's my favorite. But anyway, there's so many options when it comes to the rifles. I want to say the other one that I hear a lot of people talking good about is the Giselle rifle. Now, the Giselle I don't have. I see a lot of people carrying it. I don't know much about it. I know it's a treasure chest weapon. Supposedly, it does quite a bit of damage, but it is an Afghan musket, and it's extremely rare, and it's very slow when it comes to load. Now, most of the rifles are slow loading rifles. They're all one shot. That's just how they are. But whenever I grab a Kentucky rifle and I grab a Reed rifle and I grab a tradesman, to me, the Kentucky loads so much faster. The accuracy point on the Kentucky is just so easy to get to. It's so small. It's so perfect. It has this little spot where I can hit. So the Giselle is one that I can't give you much feedback on because I've never used one. So guys down below, if you've used them, put your 2 cents in. I know Father Null has one. He uses it. He can definitely put some comments down below on that. I guess the other rifle that I hear a lot of people talking positive in, and I've used this rifle, and I'm not a fan of it, is the Reed rifle. The Reed rifle is a very strong rifle. It is a rifle that can be obtained through contracts, which is part of the contracts for leatherworking and hunting. It is also known as, I think that was at one point, I think it was the Milton. It's when its accuracy gets really increased when you add a scope to it. It's a good rifle. I've got one in the bank. I probably should have put a scope on that one, but I put a scope on my Kentucky rifle. So I have 2 Kentucky rifles, one with a scope that I barely use. But the Reed rifle is pretty difficult to get. It's not an easy one to get. It's very late in the contract. But it does some pretty nice damage, and it does do some really quick killing. But again, when I was out there and I compared the Kentucky to the Reed, the Kentucky just felt better. The accuracy on the Kentucky was better to me. So I kind of just favor that one over the Reed. The other one I've seen a lot of people use is the tradesman musket too, which can be crafted. It's a pretty decent gun. It can be used for hunting. It can be used for fighting. It's okay for close combat, but it's not a favorite of mine. I have one. I made one. I used it on Keikoa. It's in storage. It's not one of my favorites. The rifle I see a lot of people with would be, I guess it would be the Jaeger rifle. Even though it's spelled Jaeger, it's just like, drinking a Jägermeister. It's Jägermeister. So we'll go with that. If I'm wrong, go ahead and correct me. This one I'm pretty sure you get from the contracts. I think it's the Den contract, and I think the official factions have contracts for it too. I've not used it. I've heard it's pretty good. I heard it's got a pretty decent spot for medium like the people that shoot from like a medium distance. So it's one of the ones that people they definitely like. I guess the other one here that I've seen some other people use is the Whitworth. I have not used a Whitworth, so I can't really comment too much on the Whitworth. I think it's a treasure chest item. I heard it's pretty solid, but you'd have to really find someone that's used a Whitworth. And I guess the most basic one here, as every other, just like the Sharps pistol, you've got the Charleston rifle or the Brown Bass rifle, depending on if you're with the, I guess, the British. They're very basic weapons. They're good. They're muskets. I don't care for them, so I don't really use them. And then you've also got the carbines. Now the carbines, they've got their the rifles, the Brown Bass and the Charleston have carbines too, which are smaller, more accurate, not really made for hunting, more your quick action carbine rifle. Good for military purposes, but other than that, that's pretty much what all they're using. All right, the next part of this is how do you feel about the rifle and the scope? Now, if you've got a scope, this is going to give you the ability to zoom in. It's a sniping scope. Now, I don't think sniping scopes were around in colonial times, but I'll go ahead and pretend they were. I'm pretty sure they were not. They were more, came around later. But we'll go with that they may have been, and maybe I'm wrong and whatever, but the research I've done, they were not around. But the scope will give you the ability to zoom in. And with the zoomed in view, you then are able to snipe people. And this can be attached to any rifle. I've got mine on my Kentucky rifle. I have one called the Sharpshooter that has a scope on it. I have a second one with a scope on it that I gave to Kayla, and she carries. It's also on the Kentucky rifle. And then I gave I think I had a third one I gave to my daughter because she loves sniping with it, so she uses it. Now, here's my thing with this. I'm going to be an opinionated SOB on this one. I don't like it. I have seen a lot of people use the scope, and a lot of people are great at it, but I would prefer to shoot without the scope. I don't like the zoomed-in view, and when I'm hunting or I'm playing, I don't want a zoomed-in view. I just want to use the view. Now, I do want to give props out to one of the developers who was playing with me the other night, and he mentioned that the bullets have a drop. And they do, and sometimes you've got to make sure that when you're shooting, you're aiming a little higher from a further distance because the bullet is going to drop. So with the scope, it's a little bit easier to kind of maneuver that, but I still don't like the scope. I have my gun with the scope in it. I even went as to the point of matching the gun mats with the scope, but I don't like it. The scope itself is a treasure chest item. You can find it in treasure chests, and a lot of players are selling it. It's a pretty valuable item. It sells pretty high. I want to say between 20 and I want to say 30K, maybe even a little more, depending on the scope and what it's made from. But the scope is a very good item that other players are always after. They always want to add it to their rifles. I just don't know. It is just not my thing. I don't like the scope. I may insure my rifle with a scope for 7 days in the future and see if I like it, but it always seems to go back to me just using the gun without the scope. So how do you guys feel about it? Do you like the scope in rifle? Do you use it? Leave me your feedback down below. I want to see how you guys use it, because I just don't I don't care for it. So we'll see what you guys think. All right, so that's going to bring us to the end of the video. And this question, the end of the video, is going to be, what is your favorite weapon kit? So what is your favorite 3 weapons that you use on your character? I'm going to give you mine, which you pretty much know. Keikoa likes to carry around the Tomahawk as his melee weapon, the Holstein pistol as his secondary weapon, and the Kentucky rifle as his primary weapon. And for me, they fit my needs. I still suck at shooting other players. I still don't go around trying to shoot other players. But they're great for hunting. Whenever I'm hunting, they work out wonders. I know Boombuck, on the other hand, he loves to carry around the bow. He's one of the best bow users I've ever seen. And he has the bow and he uses the Thunder Pistol. I've seen Null, like I said earlier, he uses the Giselle, and I want to say he carries around a 2-handed axe. He always goes to the axe. I know when I was playing with Josiah the other night, he carries around the gun with the scope. So it's, it really depends, but what is the kit? What is the kit that you like? I like those three weapons on my kit. Even when I play Kayla, I use the same three weapons on Kayla. I use the tomahawk, the Holstein, and the Kentucky rifle. I like those weapons the most because they're easy to replace and they have good accuracy, and they're just fun to play. They feel like a frontiersman. So those are the three that I keep in my kit. Those are the three that I always look to replace. I keep the mats to replace. I went with a very simple look on the mats. I got away from the maple and silver and I went with just the iron and the pine because it's just so much easier to get it. So I kind of prefer that. But I want to know what you guys think. I want to know what you guys feel is the kit for you. What do you carry around? What are the the primary, the secondary, and the melee weapon that you carry? What's your kit? What do you love the most? What do you feel you're the most successful with? Go ahead and leave a comment below. Anyway, this video is probably a little bit short, but I wanted to thank you all. I wanted to say thanks for doing all you do, being around, supporting me, making it fun to do what we do. I know there's been a lot of different things going on the past few weeks, but we're still trucking, man. We're still trucking. Anyway, join the live streams. They're still going. They're still doing their thing. And next week we'll get another video out. So y'all have a great one and enjoy your holidays. Peace.